Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. I have a card making process video that has a disaster towards the beginning of the video. So, yeah, I'm making a card for my auntie. I have this idea in my head about some torn strips, creating a background. So I chose a bright pink and a pale pink cardstock, and cut them all to sort of being about 5.5 inches long, torn, and I'm going to alternate the colours. And then I decide, right, well, I need a little panel for them to sit on, and then it goes disastrously wrong, because that's an entire can of Fanta orange that I've just tipped right over that cardstock. Yep, a whole can of Fanta orange. So I had to do quite a bit of cleaning up at this point. Oh, you know, there's a reason why I shouldn't drink pop, basically. I think I probably should drink wine or something similar. So the good news is I'm not going to make you watch all of this, or at least not at that kind of speed. So I'm going to speed it all up. But so you are going to see it all, but this is like times 20 or something. Yeah, a whole can of pop. I just can't believe what I did. But I didn't get it on the floor. I just got it across the top of those pieces of cardstock, and then it sort of puddled in areas so it didn't impact on anything else. So disaster over. I put the cardstock that had got wet onto the floor to dry whilst this was all being cleared up. So there was a few sort of damper spots at this point, but most of it had dried up and it wasn't too bad. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep using it. So I didn't waste anything, which is just amazing. However, there was some slight different colours going on, and I thought, well, I'm probably not going to see that on the final card because I had an idea about what I was doing on the top. But I also thought, well, if I put it through an embossing folder and then I sand it back, because you can see there that this is a white cardstock. This is the everyday cardstock from Kingston Crafts. So it's got a white core. So then I do a lot of sanding here to just expose the pattern. I'd used, I think it's called Lacy Brocade or something along those lines. It's a very old Stampin' Up! Sizzix type embossing folder. So I'm just trimming the panel down for the background because I want it to be slightly smaller than what I'm doing here. But yeah, I just thought that would work. And then as I was then doing this, I'd completely forgotten how I was going to lay them up. So I went a little bit wrong at the beginning, but managed to clear it up. And some of them I did have to just take a little bit of the white torn edge off, just so that there was more of the colour showing. And then cut it down so it was a lovely square shape. But it was quite thick, this one, on this side. And my trimmer was really struggling with it, so I do end up using my scissors later on just to neaten that up again. Right, my idea for on the top, now that the disaster and the background are done, is to use this splendid bouquet stamp and die and embossing folder and stencil set or whatever from Altenew. I've used this on many videos before. I absolutely love this set. It's just so beautiful. It creates nice big focal feature for the middle of for the front of a card. Perfectly sized for a square card as well, for the 6x6 card that I'm making. I just love it. So I stamped it and embossed it with a gold embossing powder. I think it's like a Paper Mania Basics type embossing powder. I can't remember what the brand is. I think it's Paper Mania or Do Crafts or something like that. I have finally replaced my gold that was very, very, very dilapidated and not very much left of it to get this one. And now I am deciding how to colour them, and I decide to go for watercolouring but using my Stampin' Up! Inks. This, I will add right now, is not watercolouring cardstock, and this cardstock sort of slightly creates like little dots when you watercolour on it, where some of the pigment holds in some places better than others. I decided it didn't matter. If I was precious about it, I would have restamped it onto a watercolour cardstock and done it again. But actually, because it's a sort of, I don't know what flower it actually is, but it looks a bit like a lily. I just went, it's like a stargazer lily that have the little speckles in. To be honest, nobody would know with the final piece and how it looks and with the die cut on top of it and all the rest of it. It'd be absolutely fine. So I used strawberry slush for the flowers. I used gumball green for the leaves. And then I used a bit of baked brown sugar for the brown, for the sort of the stamen, etc. I kept to just the 3 colours. I did do a bit of layering to add a little bit of depth of colour, to create some shading. But I am not a colourist, but I think I do an okay job on it. It is not perfect. It is not brilliant, but it'll do. And to be honest, this stamp is so gorgeous that you can get away with anything. I then decided I would die cut it. That was always the plan. I would die cut it. So it comes with this great die that just goes all the way over, all the way round, and then it also cuts out some of the little bits in between where there's like a little gap, which is brilliant. And then the other thing it comes with is this embossing folder, and I popped it in that and put it through. It's like a 3D embossing folder, and it just gives that bit of dimension to your die cut as well. So it's a beautiful thing. Now, I did zoom in at this point, then immediately forgot I'd zoomed in, so apologies if any of this goes off camera. I did add a little bit of glue underneath each of those strips of the paper, just because I was aware they weren't particularly well adhered to the background. It was just some strips of the ATG tape. And then I went and grabbed the pink cardstock that was left over, that was still on the desk, and I used this Happy Birthday die, which is a very old Stampin' Up die. I actually bought it secondhand. I didn't even buy it when it was released, and I die cut it 3 times. I then decided not only would I stack it the top layer, I would add a little bit of definition to that die cut with some ink, because I just thought actually I'm going to need something to just stand out from the background a little bit more. So I thought if I varied the ink colour up, that would help. Do you know what? I think I've done quite well to keep you on screen. So maybe we'll get to the end of this card without me going off screen. So I stacked them up with tiny little dots of adhesive. I would prefer to have a slightly finer tip to my glue, but I haven't got one at the moment. The last one I managed to completely ruin. So yeah, I'll have to buy another little fine tip glue bottle and start decanting it like I used to. So it does come out a bit globby in places. There's like some little extra blobs. Right, now it's deciding what to do, and I decide that actually I want to strengthen that die cut a little bit more by die cutting it a second time so that I can stack that up as well. So that's what I'm doing here, just stacking that up, and again using the liquid glue just because it gives you a bit of wriggle room, so that I can die cut the pieces together. And then I'm going to glue that in place over all of that beautiful embossed torn cardstock. Again, I've used liquid glue because there's texture, etc., and there's different layers, and the same again for that sentiment. So whilst I've stuck that in place, I've then gone and grabbed myself a 6x6 card blank, and I decide I'm going to raise the whole panel up onto some foam. Rather than using the little individual craft foam, I decided just, like the foam adhesives, decided to just use some children's craft foam that I've got. It just means it's a full panel, and it means it's not going to, it's not going to sag in places, because it's just going to cover the whole area. It doesn't quite cover the whole area, but it gives it a nice layer around the outside. And that's my card done. So I'm really chuffed I managed to rescue it, considering the little disaster and the 15-minute clean-up that I had to do. Hope you enjoyed that. Please do give me a thumbs up if you did. Please comment below. Please comment. It really helps with the algorithm for other people to see my videos. And subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time though, bye bye.